Welcome back to the Shiz channel. Take a little peep at that before we get started. Let me grab a helicopter. Got a helicopter right here. So, what I really wanted to talk about today is we got a lot going on, man. We got a whole lot going on. Give me 1 second. Let me
Okay, let's go.
I honestly want to see if I can adjust the volume of the actual stream. I kind of noticed in my last video that how can I do it from the actual stream? I don't think I can. Do settings maybe? I kind of noticed that the audio was a little loud. I don't think I can make any major adjustments. That's fine. I mean, the audio of the game was really loud. That's gonna happen when I was playing Elder Scrolls. That it probably shouldn't happen that way, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Still haven't figured out exactly how faith can appear and disappear.
All right, let's get it. Piss up. What I want to do is I want to talk about the UFC, and man, so much going on, and it's like it's becoming like an interdivisional trend at this point. Pretty much since Conor did the 45-55 thing with Cody Garbrandt, seemingly going down to 25. That's what it looks like. Let's drop down on these motherfuckers. Controller's dying. Sorry. Oh, snap. This fucking Wolverine. Where'd it go? Get your ass out the way, man. Alright. That's why I fucking played Elder Scrolls when I talked the last time. Farcry is too much. Always gotta fucking stop and blast somebody. That's a Wolverine. Fucking Wolverine. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna go to a town and talk or something. Jesus. I may have to just go back to Elder Scrolls. It's hilarious. But, you know, Cody Garbrandt is seeming like he's looking to get the 125 belt. He's gonna fight Davis and Figueiredo.
My ex told me that when Sharky found out the cult went crazy, he started laughing like a sick kid, grabbed a propane tank, and then took off running towards his trailer park. I don't even want to know what that freak's up to.
He's up to some real shit.
Smart thinking.
What's up? So Cody Garbrandt is going down to get my shit together. Cody Garbrandt is going down to. He's going to be fighting at 125. He's going to be fighting Davis and Figueiredo. I mean, this is obviously a thing for Dana to keep 125 relevant, even though there's no big 125 names. But there's also a thing that's whereas Cody Garbrandt is going to be pulling the T the Dillashaw thing. Like he could probably make 125, I guess. But I mean, if he was to win, which in my opinion that won't be happening. If he wins, what happens? Does he just give the belt back up? The division dies again. He's not going to defend both. It's probably going to take him a lot to get down to 125 in general. I assume it'll take him a decent amount of time. Dude, what is going on?
Gotcha now, asshole!
Dude. You know, I assume it's going to take him quite a while, you know, to to get his thing going. These dudes on the other side of the mountain. We're good. So I believe Cody's gonna get stopped. I think Davidson Figueiredo is an absolute savage. I think if you look at the fight with Benavidez, the first and second one, the first one was a headbutt. Benavidez, they say he won the first round. Benavidez he was getting punished, and in the second fight, he got punished even more. It's one of the most savage, just fucking like it looked like Apocalypto the year 3 when everybody just had some spears and some yoga pants. I don't know, some tank tops. I don't know what the motherfuckers were wearing in the year 6 or 7. But it looked like then, because he was choking the life of him. He was choking on his own blood, on top of him being choked. It wasn't even a blood choke. So he's choking on his own blood while being choked in the rear naked. It looked absolutely vicious. And pretty much all of Davidson Figueiredo's fights look like that. He's a real fucking savage. So I like Cody Garbrandt. I think Cody Garbrandt's a fantastic striker. I think he's, one of the most exciting fighters in general, which is why he's getting a shot. But I think he's also getting a shot because the UFC has this thing, and I understand it. When you're paying a guy a certain amount, you can only get big fights. That's what people say to like Darren Till. Oh well, Darren Till. I believe Ariel Helwani said this, and I don't think this is a bad thing. It's just not business-like, right? So let's just say, oh my god, I'm gonna have to really play out the scrolls. Get your ass out of here. God. Hey, you blasted, idiot. This motherfucker's right. Yeah.
Right in the melon.
Oh man. Sit down, so what, man? You gonna get up? I didn't think you was. So yeah, Figueiredo is an absolute savage. I think Cody Garbrandt is a fantastic boxer. He's one of the most exciting fighters that we have in the UFC in general. He's already been champion. And, the push for him to become champion because he's a marketable guy. I'm really not sure how he's marketable. Besides his fighting prowess, how exciting he is in the octagon, I believe that's that's what they want to push, and I think that's the exact way to push a guy like that. Tattoos, crazy looking guy, not too crazy. Tattoo culture is more than real now. But if you kind of grew up in the 90s, tattoo culture was a thing, but it wasn't this. Everybody didn't have a fucking tattoo back then. Everybody didn't have a face tattoo or neck tattoos, and everybody didn't have that type of shit back then. So it's still a little weird for me to see cats with crazy tattoos, even though I'm 30. So it's not like I'm 57 years old.
Everybody knows King's
It's just very different seeing people with like face tats, and full body tats, neck tats, all this shit. It's just how it is. But he's a very exciting fighter. We've seen him as champion before. He did suffer 3 knockouts in his last, I would say, 5 or 6 fights. KO and Sun Sao. The 135 thing. 135 is really strong. I would have liked them to have him steadily compete at 135 because I think he's very, very fun for that division. And for 125, man, you just gotta suck it up, and you got a really good champion. I just saw videos of I forgot to blow that up. That's a civilian over there. Oh well. I just saw videos of Figueiredo on like a Brazilian TV show. So I mean, he's seemingly popular over there. He's letting the guy hold the belt and shit like that. So if he's popping up on a Brazilian talk show, night talk show, so that means he got some clarity. He's got some clout over there. People know what's going on with him. People know who he is. Apparently, he's a former hairdresser. So you got the dude that was a former hairdresser that just jumped into MMA, and he's just vicious. And I say this because it's not like he has 37 fights in UFC. You can look at how somebody fights, just like Francis Ngannou. You can tell how Francis fights. First of all, the amount of violence. Dude, what the fuck is going on? The amount of violence that was in that Rosenstrike fight with Francis is, dude, I don't know if y'all can just go look on YouTube after you finish watching this. Pause it. I don't give a fuck. Look up Dana White, Francis, and there's a video of Dana like behind the scenes. The hell, behind the scenes, after Francis knocked out Rosenstruck, and me and him has the same. I was like laughing, not at Rosenstrike, him getting KO'd or anything like that. It's a vicious thing, but the unmitigated amount of pure violence that was produced in 20 seconds is the craziest thing I've ever seen. That's the same thing I get from Davis Figueiredo. It's the same thing I get from Cody Garbrandt, because Cody Garbrandt is coming to throw them dogs. Davis Figueiredo is a little bit more he's a lot more balanced MMA wise than Cody Garbrandt is. He has a fantastic ground game, as we just saw against Benavidez, one of the best all around guys. Period. And he choked him out, man. Like I said, look like a really, really vicious finish. So, I'm excited for the fight. The only reason I would root for Figueiredo is because of I know the division won't die. The division won't die if Figueiredo wins. If Cody Garbrandt wins, I really don't see him defending 25 like that. Even he said I don't think it's a thing like that. So I don't have any predictions, but for the faith of, dude, get out of the way. For the faith of the division, it would probably be a good idea if Figueiredo was the victor in that. So you got that. You got at 135. Next is, I don't know what's up with why Dana is kind of giving Aljamain like the cold shoulder. He said that the Corey Sandhagen fight was definitely for the #1 contendership. I'm not sure. Oh, what's going on? I'm not sure why Dana is, even in his last interview. So he said it was for the belt. It was for the #1 contendership. It happened. It was just a quick finish. Jesus Christ, the shit ended in like 40 seconds or whatever it was. For Aljamain to put on that type of performance against a guy like Corey Sandhagen is no fucking slouch. So for him to do that, it choked him unconscious. Like, it's not like it was just some kind of pussy finish or weird finish or 5-rounder or anything. He put him to sleep in the first fucking round. So in like 30-40 seconds, I believe. So even like I said recently, Dana was like, what did he say? He's like, I guess we're leaning, we think that's going to be the next fight, and we think this and maybe that. He's not giving any solid answers. For Francis, he said Francis is the guy. At 135, I don't see anybody, unless Cejudo comes back, I don't see anybody who there is for Jan to fight. And I know the UFC is thinking about recouping right now. But the greatest thing, in my opinion, that you can let these cats do, just like I would like to see them continue to do with Valentino Shevchenko, is just let these people build their own legacy. They'll never fight fucking John Jones. They already not fight John Jones. His record, his defense record, or GSP, who's the #1 guy when it comes to title defenses. They'll never get that if you got these dudes fighting people who are bigger than them instantly. Like, oh, you just won 135? Oh, all right, let's go fight up at 145. Let's go fight another dude that's a way different type of frame than you. You know, you look at Frankie Edgar, who just won at 135. He held the belt at 155. Dude, Frankie Edgar's like 5'5". Like, it's a testament to Frankie Edgar being that tough and fighting dudes that are 155. I don't think he can fight dudes that are 155 right now because, you know, as time goes on, Frankie Edgar's 38. Let's just say, you know, 12 years ago. Obviously, things upgrade. So the fighters are going to get bigger. The fighters are going to get stronger. I mean, look at what's this cat? He's 170 now. James Vick. Dude, James Vick was fighting at 155 at one point, and he went up. He fought Justin Gaethje. And he went up to 170. James Vick is like 6'3", 6'4". You expect Frankie Edgar to continuously fight dudes like this? Look at Max Holloway. They got Max Holloway listed at 5'10". You kidding me? I'm not crazy. Max Holloway is taller than Daniel Cormier. If you look up any picture with DC and Max Holloway standing next to each other, Max Holloway is taller than this dude. And if you look at DC versus Stipe, just their face off, Stipe is like looking down on it. He's barely under Stipe's nose, and Stipe is listed as 6'2". A dude that's 5'10" and 5'11" is not coming up to a dude's. His top of his head is under Stipe's nose. And so, you know, when you see these people that are, you know, I don't know if it's UFC doing it or them kind of misrepresenting their height and their weight. Well, the weight you know you gotta be, but weight, you know, I can say weight too because the weight after they are rehydrated when it's time to fight. I mean, Tyron Woodley gets up to 200. He goes down to 170, and he walks around at 190, 200, and he drains all the way down to 170, and then he rehydrates, and he's fighting again at like 195, 200 pounds. I mean, dude, like how much punishment are they gonna put on their bodies? And he's doing this because he's 5'8". Tyron Woodley's not a tall dude. He's like 5'8", 5'9". And then when you're at 185, Darren Till is 6'1". Israel Adesanya, it's like 6'4". These people are fucking tall. So, you know, no matter how powerful you are, when you're dealing with a guy like Adesanya, who's as skilled as he is, but also as tall as he is, and also as experienced as he is as a kickboxer, I mean, you know, things like that pose problems. So I said all that just to go back right around to 135 is that, you know, I'm not sure what they want Peter Yan to do. I think they may want Peter Yan, since he is Russian, and they're gaining and gaining more Russian champions and Russian fighters. Maybe they want Peter Yan to go in there with a big name, just like when he beat Aldo, that put him on a map. Maybe they want... The fuck? What the What the fuck? I wasn't tripping. So I'm just not shooting animals. Animals actually attack you in this fucking game. So I'm no sick freak. So as you can see right there, the animals have like some kind of bliss on them. That's the whatever drug these cult people are. They drug people and they drug animals. So when you see an animal turn from a fucking kangaroo to a beaver, whatever they turn it into, it's because the bliss is out in these fields. The bliss is in the water, and I'm seeing hallucinations on top of everything. So just how this game has been working. Goodbye. Why do I have a pistol in my hand? So, and you know, so 135, you know, to me it's obvious it's all Jermaine Sterling. I think to everybody else it's obvious it's all Jermaine Sterling. It seems like he's still going for that fight. I don't think they've officially gave it to him yet, which is pretty crazy, pretty sad. I don't know what it has to do with anything. I have a little conspiracy theory. When he won that fight against Corey Hanshagen, he did shout out all the he did shout out protesters. You know, Dana White is You know, he's not he's big MAGA. And I think, I don't know, I don't know. As a celebrity, it's up to them if how they want to speak out. But you will alienate people. But if you alienate people that you think are shitty people, then who gives a fuck anyway? And I'm not saying Ultimate feels that way. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying in general. If you know what you're standing for, if you know the people on the other side are just something you're not with, then it's one thing. You can do whatever you want, but politics gets us all. But moving on to 145, I think 145 is, dude, can they? She's not gonna just finish this kill. Oh my god, finish the kill. Oh my god. Ain't nuts, motherfucker. So at 145, so at 135, I do think Aljamain Sterling will beat Petey Yan. I think he is a ridiculous grappler. I think he will get his hands on him because Petey Yan doesn't throw many kicks. Mariah's caught Aljamain Sterling, I believe, with a head kick. I don't think that would happen in another fight between them, but these things happen and we have to move on from it. Petey Yan is an extreme savage as well. Please don't get me misconstrued. But I think Aljamain Sterling is a fantastic grappler, and I think he will. I won't say make an example out of him because I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll be a very competitive fight. I think it'll be a very good fight. Everybody get murked. This nigga got up. I think it'll be a very good fight. I think it'll be a very competitive fight. This nigga get up again? Jesus Christ. Again? Okay. It's gonna turn to something else. See that green shit? Motherfucker's hallucinating. He's gonna run through the fire. Fire did nothing to him. Fantastic. But I think Aljamain Sterling will stop him. I think he'll stop him the same way he did Corey Sandhagen. I think he'll get his hands on him, and I think he'll choke him out. I think it'll happen in the second round because I think Yan is very tough. But in that first round against Jose Aldo, Yan was he was in trouble. The first and second round he was in trouble. I don't think he lost those rounds. You could say I think that was one that he lost, the first one. But it wasn't just easy peasy, fucking lemon squeezy. You get what I'm saying? So, I do think Aljamain will get him. At 145, who is the next 145 fight? There's still fight. I think Dana is maybe thinking to do the Holloway fight again. Number 3. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't know, because this is the thing with that fight, right? So the thing with that fight is, if Holloway wins, do we go at number 4? Do we fight for the 4th time? I mean, because if Holloway wins in a decision, right, in a close decision, in the 3rd fight, then you got to go to number 4. And if Holloway wins in the 2nd fight, in the 4th fight, is it done before? No. So if he wins in the 3rd, then you have to give it a 4th fight because Volkanovski gave him 3 chances to beat him, right? So even though I think Holloway won those fights, he didn't, and that's just how it goes, And Dana's gonna do that for his longtime champions, just like he did for Aldo. He thought Aldo won. And Moraes clearly won on the stat sheet. It is what it is. That's how things go. I very rarely have seen him give somebody a title shot after a loss, even if they quote unquote deserved it, because deserve is the little tricky thing here. Because he did lose. I mean, this is what it is. But if Holloway beats Volkanovski, then you have to give Volkanovski a fourth fight, and especially if it's the same weight. Actually, even if you finish him, he can finish him in 20 seconds. You have to give Volkanovski up the fourth fight. And at the end of the day, how long do we expect the division to be held up? And like I said, I think Max Holloway won those first two fights. I think the second fight was even more of a testament that he won the first one, because Volkanovski did the same thing Holloway did, whereas he lost the first two, and then the third is debatable, and then he won the fourth and fifth. I think Volkanovski did the exact same thing in the second fight, but I don't think he actually won the third round. So I think Max won the rounds, won the first, second, and third, and maybe takedowns, did count for the fourth and fifth. But what is takedowns without damage? Takedowns when a dude gets right back up. I mean, to me that doesn't actually count for anything. But obviously it's not the way judges see it. And this dude, make sure he goes. Motherfucker. But obviously that's just not the way things go, So, with that, if Max Holloway wins for the third fight, then we have to give it a fourth fight. And if Max Holloway wins that, then we have to give it a fifth fight, because Volkanovski won the first two. I don't like the decisions. Like I say, I think they were the other way, but it is what it is. Just like Max said, it is what it is. So I think Max moves on. You already have Ortega and Korean Zombie about to get it in. I think Yair and Zabit is about to get it in. I think you should give Max and oh my god, I don't want to be disrespectful, because of Calvin Kattar. I was about to look it up on my phone. Calvin Kattar. I think Max and Calvin Kattar is a fantastic fight, because it's stand up first of all, it's boxing second of all, and I mean, it's a really good fucking fight. To keep it real with you, it's a really good fight. So I think at 145, that's the way they should be lining it up. Volkanovski waits for Zabit. It'll end like this. You'll have Korean Zombie, who I think should be the next contender for the belt. I don't think he should be fighting Brian Ortega. I think he should be doing it right now. I think he should be fighting for the belt right now. But obviously, I don't think that'll happen. So, if whoever has the most impressive finish between Zabit and Yair and Korean Zombie and Ortega, I think that's who will be given the judgment. Please skip this. I think that's who will be given the nod to get the next title fight. And I think that's probably the way it should be, even though I think Korean Zombie should be getting it right now, just because of the run he's been on, and just like Figueiredo and Yan having Volkanovski is not from the States either, but having a Korean champion definitely helps. It definitely does not hurt. So I think that's the way 145 will go. Max versus Calvin Kattar is Jesus in December. If you give me that for the 145, you give Max Kattar, Volkanovski. Well, Volkanovski can wait. Ortega, Korean Zombie, and Zabit, Zaire. And actually, I would say out of those three fights, whoever has the most impressive win, let him go in. If Max comes out there and fucking just throws it out and just lights it up, then you got to give it to him. But if there's a first round KO or anything like that, I think Zabit will probably win. I think he'll beat Yair. I think Korean Zombie will beat Ortega. I don't like that Ortega's been out it seems like a year and a half. Dude, I think Max has fought like 4 times since Ortega's fought. So he fought Ortega, he fought Poirier, and he's fought Volkanovski twice. Did he fight somebody in between? I think he could have. He's had at least 3 fights since the fight with Ortega. So I don't know where it's really going with Ortega. Maybe that fight really fucking took a lot of him. I assume it did. It was a pretty brutal fight. It took a lot of punches. It took 400 and something, like 450 punches to the face in 1 round. So I don't think, man, I think that's pretty fucking bad. But that's just how I see 145 going. And at 155, I don't know why it's blinking out my mind. Khabib, Jesus Christ. You have Khabib and Justin Gaethje coming up. We have Tony Ferguson and Dustin Poirier. Sweet Jesus Christ. That's coming together. That's a real fight. The thing with that fight is between Dustin and Tony is what does it lead to? You know what I'm saying? Because if Khabib beats Justin, then more than likely he's fighting GSP after. That'll be his next fight, and he says retirement because that's what he said. That's what he said he's doing. So I'm going by what he's saying. I'm going by what Dana said. Dana said whatever you want to give it to him. So if going off of that, then it'll be GSP fight. So Dustin and Tony, which I think is an amazing fight. I want to see it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Jesus Christ. But I don't know what it's for. But what I do think it may be for is if Justin Gaethje wins. And if Justin Gaethje wins, Dustin Poirier has already beat. He's already beat Justin Gaethje. He stopped him actually. And as we just seen, Tony Ferguson was stopped by Justin Gaethje. So, you know, the Tony Ferguson thing is sad because he was about to fight a pure wrestler. So you go from training for probably like 6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months to train for the best wrestler, a grappler that the UFC has ever seen. I would say wrestler because I think GSP is just far as overall grappling because he got a lot of submissions and stuff too. Khabib just beats the shit out of people for 5 rounds and he may sneak in a submission in. But when you're training for the best wrestler the division has ever seen for a clean 8 months, and then next thing you know, you're fighting the most vicious striker that the division has currently. Obviously, we saw the difference in between the result, what we thought the result would be for Tony Ferguson. I think he overtrained. I think him cutting weight that first time fucked him. I know what he was trying to prove. I don't think he has to prove that to anybody, and I don't think he will be proving that to anybody in the future. We know who Tony Ferguson is. I thought the extra weight cut, you know, it probably killed him. Because I don't think 155 is a natural weight for any of these guys. So, you know, and that's what I hope the UFC starts to get into. We're starting to see these, you know, and they're promoting it when they have guys going, like I said, going down to 125 and guys going down in weight. I think we should be promoting these cats going up in weight. Because promoting them going up in weight will show them how good they really are, and it'll show them that they don't have to continuously cut this weight. Look at Darren Till. Darren Till should be fighting at 205. I mean, let's keep it real. He's a 205. This dude is 6'2", 6'1", and he's walking around at like 220 pounds. He's a 205. But the reason he cuts down all the way down to 170 is because he had a physical advantage against those guys at 170, because you got to think it's a different frame. It's a whole different body frame. If you look at let's see, if you look at, I don't want to say Stipe and DC. I can say Stipe and DC because DC is not a big dude. He just gets big and he's always fought big, and I think, you know, just because when cats got a big ass neck, you know, it's easy for them to get the weight on them. So I think DC has always been 200 and something pounds, but we've seen DC fight at 205. So Obviously, people have seen a different level of discipline. But I wonder how much 205 was killing this motherfucker. Like, if you look at DC at any other time of his life, and you look at me at 205, he never looked like he's been at 205. Even when, if you look at his Olympic wrestling shit in college and shit, he doesn't look like a 205. He looked like someone that's a lot bigger than fucking 205. So you look at Darren Till, he doesn't look like a 170, and then you look at 185, he doesn't even look like a 185er. It's just two different frames that people are dealing with, and that's what I don't like when it comes to these mixed fights. Just, you know, Adesanya would trick you when it comes, like Adesanya and Jones. Adesanya weighed in against, I think it was Whitaker. This motherfucker's trying to snipe me. He weighed against Whitaker at 183, dude. First of all, nobody fights at 185. Is at weighs in at 183. They weigh in at 186 or 185, or you know, they don't go down even extra. So I'm led to believe that Adesanya can actually make 170, but he's a really tall, lanky dude. So I think 185 fits him best. I don't think he can make 205, but I think obviously he can fight at 205. He's tall enough to fight at 205, but he's a skinny dude. Like his body frame is just, it doesn't look like it. John Jones is 6'6", 240. John Jones is 6'6", 240. Adesanya is not going to get 240. And if he does get 240, 240 doesn't fit on him. Look at DC. 240 doesn't fit on DC. 260 doesn't fit on DC. But he's always been that. I think in actuality, you know, if it's just different frames. Like, I can't say he could have made 185. That's, you know, that's not something I can say, because fuck, you just never know. I think when you see people like Jared Cannonier go from fighting at heavyweight when he was like 230 and now he's fighting at 205, you can see that these dudes are really taking a lot of himself. Jared Cannonier's fighting at 185, dude. He fought against Glover Teixeira at 205. Glover Teixeira is a big motherfucker at 205. Let me tell you this right now. So these cats, you know, I don't like that, you know, it's kind of get promoted from them to, you know, to go down. I think it should be going up. I think it's just safer, man. It's just safer, obviously. I'm not saying anything new, you know. Yeah, get back to 155. I got way off track. But getting back to 155, I think 155 is set up pretty well. You got Dustin, you got Tony. If Dustin beats Tony, and which would be crazy. I don't want any of these dudes to lose. That's the crazy part. I'd rather none of these dudes lose, but you know, it's just is what it is. But if Dustin beats Tony and Justin beats Khabib, then obviously Dustin gets the title fight. I think that should be obvious. I think he's beaten before. He'll putting himself back on track after the win he just had as well. I think it's just a smart thing to do. I just think that should be the way it is. So you guys from 155, you're going up to 170. 170 is a little different right now. I think 170, everybody is. Well, first of all, you have Tyron fighting Kobe coming up in a couple weeks, actually, which is a really good fight. And the only way it'll be it's a good fight on paper. The only way it'll be a good fight is if Tyron lets it go. He was talking recently. I seen him in one of the interviews where he said he's gonna let his hands fly. You know, we'll see how that goes. You know, he didn't really let his hands fly against Usman. He didn't let anything fly against Usman. And Burns, he got put in a blender. But Kobe is a very much so a volume fighter. He's not throwing with the same power, not nearly the same power as anybody else that Tyron has fought with. But he does fight with a lot of tenacity, fight with a lot of cardio, and he is coming forward the entire time. Tyron said issue was one thing, and that is with people coming forward the entire time. So we'll see how that goes. And I think at 170, Usman, I I don't know who Usman is going to fight next, to be very honest with you. I think he's going to take a little break. He should probably come back in maybe December or the top of the year. Leon Edwards should be fighting, I would say, either for the belt or Jorge Masvidal. I think the UFC should do the Masvidal and Leon Edwards fight, because obviously you can't just, it's the build up is already there. The 3-piece in the soda shit it already happened. It's an obvious sucker punch, but everything is already set in stone. It already is what it is. Let me go get this hostage. This motherfucker just sitting there. Everything is already set in stone. So, can I put her in this? Get in this. Alright. That's a little thing I learned out here. You can, if I get in the driver's seat, I mean in the passenger seat, and let them get in the driver's seat, they'll fly the helicopter over us. I bought that helicopter. It got rockets. It got a whole bunch of shit on it. It's gonna be the AI
You heard anything about this junkie hold up in the old
using my helicopter,
Guess he's got some.
which is all dipped out, fripped out, slipped out. And if I can do something like this and grapple on it, you'll actually fly me to the waypoint I got right here. It's a little dangerous. Will he fly me to the waypoint? I don't think he will. I don't need him to right now. I want to talk. So, 170 coming up. I think Masvidal and Leon Edwards should be the fight. It is the build up. Leon Edwards is on a hell of a winning streak. I think like 7 or 8 straight. He should be the next guy up. He had the title shot, but because of COVID, he couldn't do it. So obviously, the UFC thinks he's in a position good enough for that to happen. And oh snap! And if UFC think you're in a position good enough to happen, then at some point it'll happen. But what you also want to do is you also want to keep Masvidal out as much as possible. He didn't take much damage. Ooh, they were stuffing his ass full of flowers. Jesus Christ. Making a turkey out his ass. Oh shit. See these motherfuckers just popping up. You have money with Masvidal, and when people see this build up, they remember the 3-piece in the soda shit. They'll get their own take from it. Like I said, I think it was a sucker punch. But people get their own take from it because they ran with it the first time and it was just a 3-piece in the soda. It wasn't a sucker punch to people. So we have a build up. The winner should obviously go back to Usman. I don't know where the hell Ponzinibbio is. I think Kobe, if he beats Tyron, he should be next up as well. I think Usman next fight is Burns. I think Dana says he's gonna go with Burns because Burns, it's not Burns' fault. Burns stepped up, right? So Burns, what Dana appreciates, what our company appreciates, is guys that just step up and just do it. It's what companies, it's there for. A lot of us don't like to work for different companies, but if you own a business or if you it's just about people stepping up. It's not even about business. If I need you for something, you step up for me, I'm gonna look out for you. So Gilbert Burns stepped up in the middle of a pandemic to fight Tyron Woodley, put on a crazy performance, and then still stepped up to fight the fucking boogeyman, Kamaru Usman, and didn't even care. He was like, fuck it, we're gonna do it. And it was COVID that stopped me. He tested positive for COVID. Sorry, it's just a big hit on him. But I think Dana's gonna honor that and give him the shot, which I think is super cool. To honor that to him and give him the shot. So I do believe he's next up. Now that I think about it, so the winner between that Leon Edwards and Masvidal, that should be the next up, and that should actually, to me, that should be a #1 contenders fight, because the Masvidal Usman fight, they want to run him back. That was super short notice of 2 weeks or 6 days to fight Kamaru Usman. Good fucking luck. I think 170 is pretty sought out. I have no idea where Santiago Ponzinibbio is. I assume he stays in another country. I think he's from Argentina. If I know Argentina, like I think I know Argentina, they're probably just fucking locked down and he just can't go nowhere. He can't do anything. So, it's sad that he's just, because he's undefeated too. I don't know if he's undefeated, but I know he's won several fucking fights in a row. He's probably won 6 in a row, so he's far out too. So it kind of is what it is at this point. We got you got 4 or 5 fighters that have a legit chance to be that dude. You know, if Tyron comes in there and stops Kobe, how could you not want to have him at least fight one more time to get another title shot? If he stops Kobe, I mean, Jesus Christ, if he beats him in general. But I think he'll need a stoppage to. It can't be any controversy, can't be any boring fights. But Kobe won't let it be a boring fight, so he'll either be ran over completely. Fucking Wolverine. He'll either get ran over completely, or he find himself in another title shot. 185. Fucking yikes. 185, we already have the fight. It's Paulo Costa gets out of Sandia. And we have him on contenders fight, which is Robert Whitaker and Jared Cannonier. So well, I don't know when that fight is. That fight is in October, I believe. I think Jared Cannonier wins by stoppage. I think he stops him in the first or second round. I know that Robert Whitaker is a fantastic mixed martial artist, as he just proved against Darren Till by taking it to the ground and mixing it up. But there's a supreme difference in between the takedown defense of Darren Till and the grappling and takedown defense of Jared Cannonier. And I think, oh man, what's this dude? I don't know why. I feel like a fucking crazy man. I'm about to call him Jan Blachowicz. Dude, who did Jared Cannonier stop? Oh my god, I know I'm so disrespectful. I feel so disrespectful right now. But not knowing who he stopped, he stopped a really good fighter, the dude who's fighting Darren Till next. So what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm sorry. Jack Hermanson, yeah. Oh my god. So he stopped Jack Hermanson in the second round. We all know that Jack is an amazing grappler, as we just saw that on display with in his last fight. So we just saw that on display. It was a quick finish. It was a heel hook stoppage against Gastelum. Real quick heel hook stoppage. So we already know what he's coming with. We already know where he's coming from. He's doing everything. But Cannonier stopped that. You know, he took him down. He took Cannonier real down real easy. But it looks like there is a substantial strength difference. Like I said, this could be from Cannonier competing at 205. Just like anybody, if you've ever lifted 300 pounds before, lifting 150 is not too fucking hard. You know, after that, dude, can I kill these people? And if you've grappled with 200-pound people, grappling with 180-pound people right after that is, you know, doesn't seem that awful of a thing. You know what I'm saying? So, sorry. Ooh, they put a. Damn. Yo, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Shooting at my helicopter? Man, it's tripping. I think Cannonier will stop him. I think Cannonier is. I think he's the real deal. I think he's a legit crazy man. You know, and that's nothing to do with the crystals, none of that shit. But you can look at some of these people and tell this motherfucker's coming in there and he means absolute business. There's no playing around. I could tell from the Anderson fight. He had Anderson with some shots. It wasn't just a leg kick. You know, I don't know if Anderson felt what from them shots, but I know the leg kick was very nasty. He has a real nasty streak. He does throw bombs. So I think Cannonier will stop Robert Whitaker. I think if Robert Whitaker is going to win, it's going to just be through him having to fight some of the toughest fights that we've ever seen in 185 fights. So the thing with Robert Whitaker is, and I want to kind of give a little segment to Whitaker. Whitaker has fought pretty much everybody, and you know what? I want to show some real respect. Whitaker has fought everybody to get to the 185 title, and also when he had his interim fighting Yoel Romero. Those are just really tough fights. So let's go back. So he got TKO by Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. That was his last fight at 170. So he went up to 185. He beat Mike Rhodes, Clint Hester, Brad Tavares, Uriah Hall, Rafael Natal, Derek Brunson, Jacare Souza, Yoel Romero twice before losing to Adesanya and then beating Darren Till. So Derek Brunson, Uriah Hall, Brad Tavares, Jacare Souza, Yoel Romero twice, and Darren Till. And that's since, what year is this? 2015. So in 5 years, he's fought against the toughest motherfuckers, and we've seen, obviously, and even had a year off in between. When he had the sports hernia, when he was about to fight Gastelum, he had to go into emergency surgery for the sports hernia. So there's a lot of people that were trying to call him injury prone. Dude, if I catch an injury and I have to immediately go into surgery, I don't think this is my fault. I think you can blame me for this. Like, if they say, hey, you gotta go right now, like, we're taking you to the fucking church. We're taking you, not church, I'm looking at a church. We're taking you to the hospital immediately. You can't really fault this dude. You can't call him injury prone. It don't really work like that. He's fought some of the toughest fighters. Oh my god. Fucking idiot hit a tree. Crashed my helicopter.
Get over here. I need
Get
you.
get your ass up. Get your ass up. Yeah, I know. So me saying that is not. I just think it's Cannonier's time. I think that injury put a stickler in there. They were supposed to fight before, if I'm not mistaken. I just think Cannonier is a different type of beast. So at 205, and who else is fighting? Yeah, Jack Hermanson and Till is fighting. I still think, even though he said that's the #1 contenders match, if somebody comes out and gets absolutely fucking starched and the other one is a boring ass fight, I don't think it'll be either way for either one. I can see him trying to change his mind. They want to push Darren Till, and Darren Till is certainly, to me, has proved himself to be an elite fighter. He just have to work on his grappling, but I'm not sure how much he can work on his grappling in England. Like, obviously Leonette was a fantastic grappler, but they come from different parts of England. I think Darren Till's from Liverpool, and Leonette was from an area called Birmingham, out there in London, England, UK. I'm sorry, it's out there. Fuck.
No one believed me.
But you're going to have to be on a certain level when it comes to grappling, in order to get to the big league. So, and especially fighting Jack Hermanson, as we just seen, just tapped out Calvin Gastelum in a couple seconds. I mean, I don't think that happened to Darren Till, because I think Darren Till is just a much bigger person. It's going to be much harder to get him down. But Jack Hermanson is not a small dude either, so hopefully Darren Till is working on all that. It's gonna be a fantastic fight either way, and yeah. Moving on to 205, I think it's gonna be. This already says Reyes against Jan Blachowicz. If I'm not mistaken, dude, did Blachowicz get stopped at some point? Like, am I tripping? Did he get stopped and then he just had a fantastic win? Am I thinking Jack Hermanson? Because those are all the people that I got fucking mixed up earlier. Like, does he have a recent loss? So he lost to Thiago Santos. That was in 2019. So last year he did lose. It was a TKO. Okay, I remember him losing recently, and he also beat Jaron Cannonier at 205. So and then this is at 185. When is this at? He moved up to 205. I think he beat Thiago Santos at 185, and then he moved up for Luke. Because I don't know how Thiago Santos just get a title fight. Kevin Holland, Eric Anders, Jimmy Manawan, Jan Blachowicz. No, Thiago beat him. I'm tripping. I'm looking at it and I'm not even. So Thiago beat him, but he bounced back, and that's how he's in his title picture. Obviously, he's earned it. He's put in the fucking work. He knocked out Luke Rockhold. And he knocked out Corey Anderson, who Corey Anderson was actually next up for the title fight, but John Jones was playing games. UFC was playing games because Johnny Walker would have definitely got that title fight after if he'd beat Corey Anderson. They played around with Corey Anderson. I believe that's probably why Corey Anderson made the decision to go, even though he did lose to Jan Blachowicz. That's how the game goes. But it's very similar to the Tony Ferguson situation where we all know Tony should have been fighting for the title. I think, Tony probably shouldn't have taken a fight if it wasn't for the title against Khabib. And not an interim, because he's won an interim before. So what does an interim again do? But he took the fight. He lost. It is what it is. It's just how things go. But it's just another unfortunate situation. So I think 205 is like that. I do think Dominic Reyes will beat Jan Blachowicz. I think Dominic Reyes is striking, and him just moving around, his movement, his boxing is on a very high level. We just saw him take it to John Jones. Nobody take it to John Jones. And obviously he took it to John Jones to a little bit of a bigger fact, because John Jones is no longer in the division. And we can say that he doesn't have anything else to prove. But what does he have to prove at heavyweight? I mean, the Stipe fight fits him more than the Francis fight does. I mean, this is the thing, and this is my analysis with John Jones versus Francis Ngannou, right? So we all know that John Jones is a big dude, and when they actually do the face-off, they're probably going to be standing face-to-face. But this is another one of those frame issues, because Francis Ngannou has to cut down to get to 265, whereas John will take several months to get himself up to 240. I need to clear these dudes out before I finish talking. Goddamn, I want to get shot. Okay, so again, we have a frame difference. Now we know John Jones can, pick off fighters. He can chop down fighters. He can win by points. That's how he won against Reyes.
We got a fight coming up.
But Reyes spoke to a couple things, and this may be some bravado. This may be him just BSing. But John Jones doesn't have any one-punch stoppages. He may have some submissions. Yes, not may have. He has some submissions. Obviously, there's a no contest thing with DC. He caught him with a perfect head kick. But there's a tremendous difference in between a head kick against DC and attempting to stop Francis Ngannou, because you're going to have to stop Francis Ngannou. He does not have the same frame as Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic is a wider dude, and you may say, oh, well, John can get up to 240 and he's 6'6". How can they have different frames when Stipe is like 6'2"? You can look at these dudes like body size. It's a tremendous difference in between them. Just like with Francis cutting down to 265, it's a tremendous size difference. John Jones is not knocking this dude out. I'm not sure how many leg kicks or whatever he thinks he's gonna come up with to chop down Stipe Miocic. He doesn't have the power that Stipe has. Obviously, Stipe has one punch KO power. We've seen Stipe punches makes a visible difference in people. John Jones, as Reyes says, he's a sneaky fighter. He's a very high IQ dude. He knows how to hurt people. He's in the hurt business. He is the hurt CEO. But a 265-pound dude like Francis Ngannou, I just don't see it. I just don't see it working out. I don't see him pointing away. Rosenstrike wanted to point away. If you look at the Rosenstrike fight, Rosenstrike is actually the better. Okay. Rosenstrike would have been the better example on how you point fight Francis, but you have to keep him away with power. But even Rosenstrike power couldn't keep him away. Like if Francis just barrels at John like he did Rosenstrike, it's the same result. Actually, it's an even quicker result, and that result was 20 seconds. So I don't know, man. I just don't see it. You know, I just don't get it. I don't get the John. I get John at heavyweight because I think he can beat everybody at heavyweight. Just like I think DC can beat everybody at heavyweight. I think if he fight Stipe again, it's gonna be another fucking close fight. It's not like he got starched. But when you're fighting these dudes up at heavyweight, the difference in weight, as we all know, it's common sense, is tremendous. DC fighting Derek Lewis is different from John Jones fighting Derek Lewis. Let me tell you what, Derek Lewis is a big motherfucker, bro. And it's just not the same. John Jones trying to fight Curtis Blades is not the same. Curtis Blades is a big dude. Curtis Blades is 6'5", and he also has a cut down from 265. You got dudes that's walking around at 280 in shape. Naturally, 270, 275 in shape naturally. Francis, Curtis Blades, and Derek Lewis, fighting 215 and Dominic Reyes said he's 226 right now. He never gets himself over 230. You ever think Francis Ngannou has been at 230? When the last time you think he's been at 230 pounds? 226 pounds. You know the last time Derek Lewis is at 236 pounds? You know the last time Curtis Blades, Junior Dos Santos was at 236 pounds? Let me tell you what. Not a fucking lot. And it's a long time ago for all of them. All of them involved. Even Stipe. Stipe got down to 236 and he looked real slim against DC in the last fight. But he's still a much bigger dude. He has to cut down to 236. John will have to go up to be in that weight. So I don't think it's just an overall overwhelming thing. Like he can just come into the division and just scrape everybody up. The heavyweight division is just too much. Like, and I don't say it's too much for him, but I'm just saying it's a good fucking division. Yeah. You know, I just don't know, man. I don't know about the John Jones heavyweight thing. He's obviously outplayed his hand because he gave up his own belt, which he probably didn't want to defend anyway. And you could say, "Oh, I've done enough at 205." Yeah, what's enough? If you don't have the record for GSP's title defenses, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I'm really not sure. I don't think he does. But at the end of the day, what is enough? If you're still fighting, ooh, that's hilarious. Did I get all three of them? Alright. Yeah, that first one I was just aiming at myself. And this last one, oh, it disappeared. Oh, I got him. Hilarious. Let me go into the main menu before they snatch me up again. Do a little fast travel. And you know, and this is not me saying I think John Jones will lose every fight at heavyweight. I just don't think it's the same. It's not the same beast, obviously. If you going back to Rosenstrike and Francis, how quick that was. If you look at it, Rosenstrike hit him with 2 leg shots, and as Ngannou was coming at him, he countered twice. I saw the shit in slow motion. You can look up slow motion and Ngannou Rosenstrike. It's actually an amazing video. It's a slow motion video. And he countered him twice. He hit him twice as Francis coming in, and Francis touched him 1 time. And it was lights fucking out. And that's Rosenstrike. Rosenstrike is a big dude. I don't think John Jones has those same facilities. You know, his head is his head damage is relevant because he hasn't taken much damage at all. But not taking any damage at all and taking damage from motherfucking Francis Ngannou, this is different, dude. We saw those shots Stipe took, and you know, and that's one of the things I want to discuss with Stipe too. Let's get off John Jones for a second, and I will be really clear when I say this about Stipe. I'm not even gonna look up his fights, but I know he's beaten Fabricio Verdum. I know he's beaten Junior Dos Santos, I believe, twice. Of the lose the first one, they fought twice. I know that. But I know he's beaten Junior Dos Santos. He's beaten Daniel Cormier twice. He's beaten Francis. Now, this version of Francis is not this next version of Francis. Like the first version of Francis is not this one. But he did beat him. Francis was the boogeyman and still is the boogeyman. But I think Francis was pushed to that title fight, which is why the UFC was kind of down on him especially after the fight against Derek Lewis. They were very down on him. But the stoppages that Ngannou has after stopping Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, Rosenstrike, and Blades again, all within a minute, which means he's more deserving, in my opinion, in this title shot the first time than he was in the second. But after a knockout against Overeem like that, you gotta do it. You gotta give him a title fight. If Stipe could beat this dude again, why wouldn't that put him on the same line as GSP? Now, we can say GSP has, 9, 10 title defenses.
I'm moving. Get cover.
How many title defenses he has? But brother, to beat Daniel Cormier twice, to beat Fabricio Verdum, to stop Fabricio Verdum, to beat Junior Dos Santos, to beat Alistair Overeem, and to beat Francis Ngannou twice. Francis Ngannou is the scariest heavyweight in UFC history. There's no doubt. There's no debating that. It's no debate now. What is shooting? This Why the fuck did she snipe
Is
me?
it worth keeping?
Yeah, pick that up for me.
That one's useful.
I mean, why wouldn't we put Stipe up there was one of the greatest of all time? To beat Cormier twice? To beat first of all, like, I know, it won't be 10. Alright? It'll probably be like 6 or 7 defenses. And I don't want to discredit. Obviously, you can't discredit GSP. I don't want to even try to attempt to. But there's a tremendous difference between beating Matt Hughes twice and beating Francis Ngannou twice. I mean, I think that's more or less common sense. And there's a big difference between beating him and beating Cormier twice. I think we can also say that. Fabricio Verdum, who has beat Cain Velasquez, who has beat Fedor, for him to stop him with one punch, for him to beat Ngannou after taking shots that nobody else has been able to. He took shots nobody has been able to take. For 5 rounds, he took those motherfuckers. And he survived, and he beat him, and he beat him convincingly. It was unanimous decision. It wasn't a close fight. Why wouldn't Stipe be the greatest of all time? Why wouldn't he at least be on Mount Rushmore? I've always had DC on Mount Rushmore, but to beat DC twice and to beat Francis twice, I mean, fuck, that's 4 tough ass fights. That's 4 fights for your ass, son. I think he'll beat. I think he'll beat John. To be quite honest with you, I think he'll beat John Jones. Because like I said, it's another difference between it's a frame difference, and also Stipe boxing is really good, and also his movement is really good. DC moves like a wrestler who's learning MMA, who has learned MMA. Stipe moves like a boxer that can grapple, and his boxing's always been fantastic. We know he has the power, and I just think that's it's a plausible narrative. It's a plausible thing to ask. Why can't Stipe be? We already have him as the greatest heavyweight of all time, and and we're kind of holding that back and for John Jones and GSP as far as just the overall greatest. Excuse me, along with Randy Couture and all these other people, but I wasn't big into Pride when Fedor was on this run, but I absolutely respect Fedor's run. I know he's considered one of the greatest of all time. I won't discredit that in any type of way, but I'll say one thing, which will probably discredit that in some type of way. The level of competition that the two of us face is not even close. Even when talking with Fabricio Verdum, Fabricio Verdum beat Fedor. Fabricio Verdum beat Cain Velasquez. Is the first one to beat Cain Velasquez. Like, this is not, well, not the first one. Junior Santos beat him, but he tapped him. He submitted him. This is not small things. Fabricio should definitely be in the running for stuff like that as well. I think he should be higher on the list than Fedor is. He beat him. He beat tougher competition than Fedor. I mean, I know we can be stuck in the kind of mythical, legendary days of Pride, and you beat who you beat. So it's not Fedor's fight that he didn't have Cain Velasquez and Daniel Cormier and Josh Barnett and Bigfoot. Well, he did have Bigfoot Silva. He lost to Bigfoot Silva, but it's not his fault. He didn't have all these people in front of him in his prime. But history is history, and it just is what it is. So, I think Stipe should definitely be considered, especially if he can beat Francis the second time. Beating Francis the first time is already a lot, but this improved Francis with the improved bodies of Cain, because before it was Dos Santos, not Dos Santos, it was Overeem and Blades and a couple other people he beat. Not Overeem is obviously a big name. Blades is a decent name. But to come from all that and to beat the dude who stopped Cain and JDS and all these dudes in the first minute, and he can stop those dudes, to me that's a lot. That says a lot about his legacy and just about how things go. So I think the next fight for him is probably, or not probably, the UFC's already confirmed it is Francis. And I say all that, I don't think he will beat Francis. I think this is the time for Francis, and I think they'll get a third fight, and I think Francis will stop him again. I think Stipe would deserve the third fight. No matter how Francis beats him, Stipe deserves the third fight. But this is a hell of an outing to try to beat Francis right now. Francis is on up. He's just looking pretty ridiculous, man. So I'll pick Francis in that fight, even though history and everything else has told me that's probably a bad idea. But it is what it is. So that's how I think about all the UFC fights. Jesus Christ. I think I was somewhat thorough. I was somewhat thorough in these fights. And talking about the fight we just had this past weekend, Frankie Edgar looked fantastic. You see Frankie Edgar fighting at 135, dude, at fucking 38 years old. Beat motherfuckers up. He won a belt at 155. Beat motherfuckers up at 145, and he still beat motherfuckers up at 135. And he just beat Munoz, who just stopped Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt is about to get Cody Garbrandt is about to get a whole title shot, and Pedro Munoz stopped this dude. 2 fights ago. It's 2 fights ago. It wasn't even that long ago. Like Cody Garbrandt's on a 1 fight winning streak, and he's getting back to the division. But, I got no problem with that. It is what it is. It's a amazing knockout to get him back to that position. But Frankie Edgar really puts in the fucking work. I mean, sweet Jesus Christ, 37-38. Obviously had a problem with the tall, rangy fighters. Like I said at the beginning, I mean, when you're dealing with Max Holloway is 6 foot. You're not gonna tell me Max Holloway is 5'9", 5'10". Yeah, I'm not crazy. Oh, we just let him up. I could have saved him. God damn it. I didn't even see that shit. And Frankie Edgar, like I said, he's 5. I say 5'6". Frankie Edgar is probably like 5'4". Keeping it real with you. So for him to put that type of work in, oh, you just got your ass stomped, didn't you? Civilians, if you're in the way, you better get out the way. Tired of the games. Come on, get your ass up. Sorry, y'all. This mother. Okay. But we have fantastic events coming out. I think I'll since I kind of like my YouTube here. Check out my other video. I just uploaded it yesterday. My opinion on the Montrezl Harrell and Luka Doncic situation. And I think I'll just be attaching some good old video games. Well, what the hell? I think I'll be attaching some video games and some podcasts in the future. And not even podcasts, just good videos. Just videos where I just talk about shit. So appreciate y'all watching and building this community. I would like to build this up into a community. I'll put this in the comments as well. We all have opinions, just like in the Montrezl Harrell video and Luka Doncic. We all have our opinions on things. I think we're all humans. I assume humans differ in opinions all the time. But I think the good thing about being a human with a thinking brain is that there are things that we can disagree on and we can move on from. Obviously, there are extremes that I'll never move on from. But I also want to kind of let everybody know, the Russian bots thing is a thing. We let ourselves get upset by these Russian bots that are literally made. You can Google this, you can YouTube this, you can do anything with it. The FBI raided several places in Nigeria that are being subletted through Russia. Russia is putting up areas across the world. In Nigeria is one of the places. This year was a couple months ago. I believe it was April or March. But the FBI raided an entire facility of just some niggas and some computers. And they're literally making fake accounts to get Americans riled up. This will happen in 2016 along with some other shit. But they know for a fact that Americans, for some reason, cannot get past its past. There are several other countries that have worked their way through their past. Germany will say one. And everything is not perfect. But it's damn sure ain't 1945 out there. This place damn sure ain't 1945 right now because it's not one to be allowed. But we still have huge humanity issues. And we can all agree on that. Homelessness and, children starving. I see stories about schools having kids in debt, lunch debt. I'm not sure. Maybe I was in school. We had some lunch debt. Mama took care of it. But I'm not sure why kids would have her lunch debt and they can't eat today because, they're in debt. I mean, sounds fucking crazy. that kids in school would are not being allowed to eat.
I'm going for it.
Ooh. Because of certain things, but we also know that there are a lot of kids that get meals from school. So I think us moving forward and helping situations like that, coming all together, and understanding that
Enemy over
there are all
there.
different opinions in the comments.
Moving, watch my back.
Watch out for Russian bots, no matter who comments you in. Whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, get your ass down.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube.
Wish I could do more for
Watch out for the Russian bots. Don't get caught lacking, saying some dumb shit, and responding to hate with hate to a fake account. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever. So do your research, as I always tell people. But I would like our community, or my channel, to be, it's positive points. Everything can't be all positive. I'm not some jolly motherfucker. This ain't, I'm not Jolly Green Giant. This ain't all roses and petals over here. This is real life. This is reality. But we can stay civil. We can have some discussions too, and we can also call some people stupid motherfuckers for saying extra dumb shit. That's the thing too. Well, I'm not saying we can't do that, but we can all have honest discourse and move on. It's like civil people typically do. So I appreciate y'all, and I'll holla.